later. So, Lunch and Learn webinar from LCMB. Myself and Callie, we'll introduce in a moment, will be presenting to you a few short slides. Shouldn't last any more than 15 to 20 minutes. So let's start. What is IQ Hub? I mean, IQ Hub, it's a software as a service, smart building performance platform. It provides clear, actionable insights for anybody managing a building or an estate, and it highlights any underperforming systems. So this could be your BMS, your HVAC system, or potential compliance risks. It offers you a subscribed-based dashboard, reports, and an automated facility which will manage systems and improve the productivity, therefore reducing your energy costs and usage and reducing your carbon emissions. And of course, it demonstrates legislatively compliance, which enables smart cleaning maintenance where appropriate, but ultimately it lowers operational costs. So before we get started on the full slide deck, can I just pose two questions to you? One is, if you could solve one estate or compliance challenge this year, what would it be? And by the end of the session, what would be the most useful thing for you to take back to your organisation? So if you could kindly use the chat facility, that would be appreciated, and we'll answer those towards the end of the session. I'll hand over now to Callie.
Thank you very much, Paul. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us today for this short but key topic Lunch and Learn webinar on IQ Hub. We'll give few more seconds because I could see that people are entering in the lobby. So we'll give you few more seconds and then we'll kickstart with the actual date. Okay. Yeah, so you might be wondering about the questions that Paul has questioned earlier, and then you might be thinking about the answers of it. Feel free to answer it in the chat window. All right, 12:03, we'll kickstart. My name is Kalyani, and I am a senior consultant at LCMB, where I have been working with mainly managing the IQ Hub platform end-to-end, right? So at this point, you might be thinking, why should you consider IQ Hub? So let me tell you where the most businesses are today. Most businesses are managing energy and carbon in hindsight. So looking at the spreadsheet once a month, maybe, reviewing cost after the bill arrives. And in the world of volatile prices and constant ESG pressure nowadays, this is just not good enough anymore. IQ Hub doesn't just show you your data or the real-time data, but it flags risks, highlight waste, and points you to where money and carbon can be saved as and when the problem arises. Right? So that is a very important thing in the world of volatile energy prices and ESG. Another issue is the hidden cost of employee sick days. Poor indoor air quality, things like temperature, humidity, CO2, they directly impact employees' performance. So the businesses see higher absenteeism at workplace and low day-to-day productivity. So businesses end up managing employees' sick days instead of fixing the root cause that lies in the building. We make poor indoor air conditions visible upfront and not the weeks later. So businesses are dealing with the legacy system. That is another point which I want to bring out. The legacy systems that have been in place for several years. And it's not your fault. Down the line, you were working on the CRM platforms, spreadsheets, and reports from various other systems and tools. And then the shift occurs. So now, where we need to have one view about your building data, do you really have it? All the fragmented data is really hard to maintain and difficult for decision making. So at LCMB, IQ Hub's modules are built around these real business issues that directly helps to reduce operational costs, and because of the smarter energy use, proactive maintenance, and streamlined resource management. That means your facilities run smarter, more efficient, and more sustainable, right? So what we do, what IQ Hub does is, whether your data is held in any legacy system in any format, whether it is CSV, PDF, XLS, or you have a brand new data source, IQ Hub can manage all of it. So it connects anything and takes the complexity out of your data management and reduces your administration time. This ensures you're not manually stitching files together or trying to make sense of inconsistent formats, right? And because it's all real time, you're always working with the most up-to-date information in hand. Another key point is it's not off the shelf. So we don't offer something which is out of the box. And the key point is all the modules are built around your specific business requirement. Every organization has their own issues that they want to resolve. So we don't offer a generic dashboard or one size fits all approach. No. So we reach out to your business requirement and we give you the solutions which can fit your organization's needs, right? So we have IQ Hub running at customer places at several points. So when we did quantitative analysis, what we found, like after IQ Hub was implemented, organizations typically could see 12 to 25% energy savings, significant reductions in the maintenance spend, and more than 50% reduction in manual reporting time because we have all the automated reports in place that replaces the manual processes. So one single platform rather than multiple systems and compliance and operational risk, which are substantially lowered. I'll now hand over to Paul, who will go through more detail on what the IQ Hub modules look like and how they are applied in practice.
Thanks, Kelly.
Yeah, we just need to next slide. All right.
Okay. So as Callie said, the system's built around the client needs. It's module based. You can use modules on a singular basis or a collective basis. I'll take you around the octopus, as we call it, starting at 12 o'clock. So we've got a compliance module. This allows you to track and raise tickets from facilities management work, which is carried out either by your own team or a subcontractor. And this gives clear visibility of their effectiveness. And I'll show you some dashboards later. Occupancy, as we all know, this can be measured on an individual or as a group basis. It can be heat mapped. It ensures that it gives you visibility of, are you heating or cooling an area where there are bodies or there are not bodies? Are you spending or wasting time and energy where you don't need to be? Carbon, which is obviously I'll say a warm topic at the moment. Scope 1, 2, and 3 can be measured. And then we manage that effectively through a series of dashboards for you to give you visibility of where exactly is your starting point. The biggest question we get from clients on Scope 3 especially is, where do I start? Well, it's that's a formula we can work with for sure. For each of these modules, we agree with the client a series of set points. So a simple one would be temperature. Most offices are 18 degrees to 22 degrees. And then we alert the users when they go either above or below. And again, that it's sometimes down to personal preference, but it could be, you could be overheating an area that is not in use on a weekend. Again, the system gives you visibility of this and shows you where and where not you're wasting energy usage. Clever feature of IQ Hub alongside the energy reporting is it can reconcile invoices. So it makes sure that, you know, we all get the energy report that comes in from, let's say, EDF off the portal. Who's actually checking that? Who's making sure that the meter readings are the same readings that are coming out on your bill? Are you paying for a like-for-like kilowatt? Again, this could be, it could be hydro, it can be solar, it can obviously be gas, and it can obviously be electricity. Heating and cooling usage, excuse me, goes without saying. These tend to be the larger overheads. These again can show you where HVAC and or BMS are working appropriately. In our experience, the only people that check to see whether a BMS is working are the people that do the BMS service, which tends to be the people that put the BMS in or have the service contract. So How do you check and balance that's right? I'll give you an example of that. You'll get somebody that says, it's really hot down the far end of the office today, yet the BMS is saying it's 21 degrees at the output. Well, again, we can correlate this data and show you where you've got potential issues. Air quality quickly. This is not something that was just relevant on COVID as well, or around COVID. We all know from those studies that you can lose 20% of cognitive learning from your employees and your team because the quality of the environment isn't great for working in. Offices can be too hot, too cold. Some businesses are trying to encourage people to come back to the office. Again, if that environment isn't right, that's going to be a tougher job than it already is. And again, it gives you that second insight into your HVAC or BMS systems. This is a dashboard of one of our clients currently using IQ Hub. This is focused around indoor air quality. However, their output from it fed back into a BMS service issue. So if we move right to left across the screen, starting with the temperatures, the set points there, the two lines on the top and on the bottom were measured, and what we were able to do was report back, or the company was basically looking at the dashboard and seeing where they went outside those set points. And in the first 3 or 4 months, there were some quite scary dashboards came out. They were heating areas where they didn't need to do, and they were cooling areas that were inappropriate to be cooled at the time. So a CO2 monitoring, moving across to the right now, that can also be an indicator of occupancy. And also it tells you whether enough fresh air is coming through for into the building. You'll notice also in this office, this is the head office. It's actually based in an area which is prone to radon geographically. So tends to be Cornwall and Scotland. So, but then there are other pockets which suffer from it, and it's one that just needs to be checked every now and again. Humidity, we measure as standard, and that again can be whether or not your heating and cooling systems are working correctly. Relative light is part of the same module. VOC, volatile organic compounds, I should say, that may seem quite specific, but every office probably has a cleaning company that goes in, and we've had incidents where the cleaners have used non-compliant cleaning products, and that's created an environment where employees have ended up with breathing difficulties because the right chemicals weren't used and the fumes weren't being moved through the building quick enough to dissipate them. This is the same client, by the way. This is a worldwide German manufacturer and a retail business, and we look after all their premises in the UK. So this drills down on the temperature. We can come down to a particular area as determined by the client. And so if you've got a particular problem, we're not necessarily starting with a massive area and coming in. It's very easy to pinpoint where the challenges are. And all the data can be displayed within working hours or indeed out of working hours. The amount of businesses or offices that heat areas on a weekend or between midnight and 5 o'clock in the morning that don't believe they do is quite staggering. That would be my comment there. And obviously the dashboard can highlight that for you. This client is a London-based university, and it's the compliance module. So what we did here was the dashboard is used to display tickets from facilities management jobs. So these could be leaks, broken windows, lifts not working, etc. We measure the time the ticket was raised, we measure the time the ticket was closed, and then we agree a service level agreement with the client, and that's how the measurements are made. What we found within the first quarter of this was that just having visibility of a raised ticket and a fixed ticket and an outstanding ticket, it actually increased the fixed job rate from 25 up to 95% after 3 months. Failed jobs dropped by 50%, and the team performance raised year on year. I can't give you an exact figure on that, but it just demonstrates that as soon as you got visibility on what's happened, people tend to react quite differently. The next slide is the same client, but this drills down into individuals or teams of people. And what we found was, as soon as a team realized that they were being measured, then the performance increased. So the operatives could instantly see that where they were performing, the completion rates increased, the service levels were hit more often than not, and we were able to give this client and continuously do a week-on-week comparison. They also had a correlation between their in-house team and their out-of-house team. And on this particular occasion, at the beginning, it showed that the out-of-house team was working ineffectively, to be honest. And therefore that gave them an opportunity to go back and renegotiate the financial contract. Also happens where you've got third parties, if you need somebody to deliver a part, to fix a job that's outstanding, that shows up in the discretion table as well. So again, it gives you an opportunity to go back and question a supplier's service level agreement to you, as I'm sure you all have over the past. Moving on, just 2 more slides now on this. This is an energy dashboard, and this is for a very large Oxford college that we're currently working with. So this could be water or solar, but this is showing year on year spend and usage trends. We normalize where possible. We track consumption versus spend. We can track outdoor air temperature as well. We can track general weather conditions. So if all of a sudden you as a client were using more energy, the question would be, first question is, well, why? Well, it could be that the average outdoor temperature has dropped by 5 degrees over that period, and that could give you an answer. Over the last 12 and 24 months, we can track spend and consumption year on year. So if you've got old data before you take on IQ Hub, we can upload the old data to give you some kind of measurement as soon as possible and give you some kind of direction of what's a like-for-like comparison. And then finally, we layer what we call anomaly detection, and it flags real-time consumption and cost anomalies. So if you get, I suppose in mobile bill world, it'd be called a scare bill, but if you get some month that's really high and it's out of whack over the last couple of years or 12 months, then this will be flagged to you and shown up as an alert for you to drill down and have a look at. This is the same data, but this is based on cost. And again, we measure it the same way. Again, it could be water or solar, but in this case, it helped the client, the college, go back and identify actual financial discrepancies between what they were using at the meter end and what the utility was billing them on their bills. Again, it's not uncommon for some of the big utility companies to take averages or to do guesstimates where you haven't got AMRs in use. But this enabled the college to take corrective action, prevented financial issues, and improve that cost control over their energy. Again, I think it just highlights where the product or the service drives energy efficiency and data accuracy into that. So look, to summarize, having real-time insights and separating the usage from the price, it detects issues early and you're able to react. I'm not going to read through each one of these. I take it on board that you can all read, but it strengthens your governance position. It's a single pane of glass for you to go and review. It delivers measurable and long-term cost savings across either your building or your estate. So I think we finish on this opportunity with, there's a session. You will get an email followed up by me and Callie in the next 24 hours. We would love to book either a session online for 30-minute or a face-to-face meeting that tends to last a slightly bit longer, give you time to make the tea or the coffee. And that we will work out in that time period if there's something we can benefit you with by looking at this product. And then we'll happily make a call or a meeting to suit your diary. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Are there any questions in the chat, Callie?
Yeah, I'm just having a look.
No.
No. I suppose there are no questions from the folks.
Okay, I see some familiar names in the cast list. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for taking the time to join us. I hope it's been useful. If not, well, all of you have got my phone number, so happy to take a call.
Yeah, I think some question
Miles is
doesn't linger.
typing. Miles is typing.
Mhm.
Oh, thank you, Miles. Appreciate it.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks,
Speak soon.
Miles.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.